Nathan, come on, what are you doing?
Has this ever happened to you? You're watching a horror movie and a sitcom actor shows up. Typically, actors will appear in horror movies at the start of their career.
I'll go with that theory.
Come and get it!
Or they make a horror movie at the end of their career.
Finally, I just gave in.
No judgment on the actors, but it can really take you out of the movie when suddenly there's Marcia from the Brady Bunch.
What the hell happened to you?
There is blood everywhere.
It's Skippy from Family Ties. Oh my God, it's Dudley from Different Strokes. Dudley's gonna need a lot of therapy. We've put together this video looking at the grisliest, nastiest death scenes starring actors from situation comedies. This is 20 sitcom actors killed in horror movies. Let's start with number 20, Rainn Wilson. The Office star got his big break in House of a Thousand Corpses. Rainn Wilson plays one of the tourist trap victims in the debut feature film from Rob Zombie. And technically, Wilson plays one of the title characters because he ends up as one of the 1,000 corpses.
R is among the most menacing of sounds. That's why they call it murder and not muck duck.
Get us out of here!
And let's not forget The Meg, where Rainn Wilson played the egotistical venture capitalist who falls off his own boat and quickly gets devoured by the giant shark. Number 19, Adam Scott. The Parks and Rec actor thought his big break was in a Hellraiser sequel. He thought appearing in the 4th installment of the franchise was going to change his life.
It's going to be everything that happened before Hellraiser Bloodline and then everything after later.
Right.
In the film, his character meets a rough ending.
You like it rough, don't you?
She slashes his face and then rips his heart out. Literally. Number 18, Gary Sandy. The actor who played WKRP in Cincinnati's Andy does not have a lot of movie credits, but one of those credits is Troll. He plays macho neighbor Barry, who is one of the Troll's first victims. Listen closely. It sounds like he's fading the scream by himself. You know who else is conquered by the Troll? Veep and Seinfeld star Julia Louis-Dreyfuss. Rather than being killed, she's turned into a forest nymph. When asked about this movie, Dreyfuss remembers Troll as a free trip to Italy with her husband and co-star, Brad Hall. Number 17, Dirk Blocker. Brooklyn Nine-Nine's Dirk Blocker is known by horror fans for 2 memorable roles. This small part in Poltergeist where he doesn't get killed, but he suffers. And John Carpenter's Prince of Darkness, where Blocker plays one of the first victims. Number 16, Danny Masterson. In Dracula 2000, Wes Craven Presents Dracula 2000, we see Danny Masterson die twice. Once as a human, and once as a vampire. I don't know what it is, there's just something so satisfying about seeing Danny Masterson get pegged with a nail gun.
I said I was sorry.
Coming in at 15, John Goodman. John Goodman has become one of TV's favorite dads, so it's hard to see him get killed in Chud. No, seriously, it's hard to see him get killed. They barely show you anything. All we get is a news reporter's voiceover after the fact.
No witnesses, no bodies, just blood.
If you're sorry you didn't get to see John Goodman get eaten by a gross monster, then you're gonna wanna watch this next scene from Kong Skull Island.
Oh, shit.
Number 14, Natalie Schafer. Natalie Schafer achieved a kind of TV immortality by appearing as a castaway on Gilligan's Island. But she showcased her mortality in I'm Dangerous Tonight, a horror film directed by Tobe Hooper that was made for the USA Network. Footnote, in Evils of the Night, Tina Louise, aka Ginger Grant, gets bonked on the head with a loaded pillowcase. Tina Louise hated doing Gilligan's Island, so you know she must have loved being in a movie like this.
Will you be quiet?
Number 13, John Ratzenberger. Here's a good bit of trivia. Before he was Cliff Clavin on Cheers, John Ratzenberger appeared in the cult film Motel Hell. He plays one of the punk rockers from the band Ivan and the Terribles. The band is sabotaged by Farmer Vincent. Their bodies are placed into the soil. Their brains are mesmerized. Then they are ritualistically killed with a tractor and turned into jerky.
Meat's meat and man's gotta eat.
Welcome back.
Number 12, Ron Palillo. Guess which cast member from Welcome Back, Kotter got killed in a slasher movie? Yes, John Travolta made a comeback after getting killed in a Tarantino film. But Ron Palillo, aka Arnold Horshack, got murdered in a Friday the 13th sequel. You think that's bad? Try taking a punch from Dustin Diamond. Number 11, Priscilla Barnes. The actress who played Terry on Three's Company really captured the attention of Gen X filmmakers. Kevin Smith has her appear topless in the movie Mallrats, and Rob Zombie has her stripped down to her underwear in The Devil's Rejects, where she's brutally tormented and killed by the Firefly Gang. On a personal note, I hated seeing Priscilla Barnes get tortured. Even her co-stars were uncomfortable shooting this scene.
The hardest scene for me to watch was with Priscilla Barnes. It was really disturbing. It's really, really sick.
I said to Rob during a break, I just said, you know, this is it's really bumming me out. And he looked at me and said, art is not safe.
If I want to see art where Priscilla Barnes gets tortured, I'll watch Three's Company.
Oh, say hello to Mr. Handbuzzer. Hey!
Footnote, the Three's Company cast has a bunch of horror deaths, including Suzanne Summers eaten alive in the movie Ants. I've never seen the film, but man, have I seen the VHS cover. Mr. Roper, Norman Fell, murdered by zombie children in Chud 2, Bud the Chud. And John Ritter survived Pennywise the Clown, only to get nailed by Chucky.
Now!
Why does that look so familiar?
You see, it's a Hellraiser joke, because he's got nails in his head. Adam Scott would have gotten it. Number 10, Ty Burrell. Before he was Phil on Modern Family, Ty Burrell played a classic horror movie archetype. The selfish jerk in a zombie movie.
Sweetheart, you have my permission. If I ever turn into one of those things, do me a favor, blow my fucking head off.
Oh, yeah, you can count on that.
Screenwriting students, this is called foreshadowing.
I got him.
Damn.
Number 9, Ryder Strong. Ryder Strong didn't want to get typecast as Sean Hunter on the squeaky clean sitcom Boy Meets World. So he starred in Eli Roth's Cabin Fever, where he played the final boy escaping a flesh-eating virus. Ryder Strong came back for the sequel, but he didn't last long. Number 8, Soleil Moon Frye. TV's Punky Brewster is another actor doing double duty in horror homicides. First, she appeared in Pumpkinhead 2 Blood Wings, where the actress is impaled by Pumpkinhead. Then, she was in a made-for-TV remake of Piranha, where she died trying to rescue a young Mila Kunis. Now, both those movies are a little scary, but nowhere near as terrifying as this episode of Punky Brewster. Number 7, Henry Winkler. Henry Winkler rose to fame playing the Fonz on Happy Days, and now he's having a career renaissance on HBO's Barry.
Hello?
And right in between, he had a superb cameo in Scream as the high school principal.
What kind of maniac would do something like this?
Number 6, Meshock Taylor. Meshock Taylor delighted viewers as Anthony on TV's Designing Women. But his very first role was in Damien, The Omen 2. His scene does for elevators what Psycho did for showers. Apparently, Damien Thorne really hated sitcom actors because he also killed the guy who played Sidney on MASH.
Take my advice. Pull down your pants and slide on the ice.
Before we get to our top 5, let's take a look at the honorable mentions.
There's a skeeter in here driving me bonkers.
The Office star Jenna Fisher is attacked by space worms in Slither, a movie directed by her then husband James Gunn. And after she's killed, she comes back all zombified.
Killer.
No! On TV Superstore, Colton Dunn played a real cut-up. And in the movie Hatchet 2, he gets cut up for real. Curiously, one website describes this scene as Colton Dunn gets his testicles cut off, not Colton Dunn gets his body sawed in half. Philip McKean from TV's Alice is butchered by a booby trap in Return to Horror High. In the movie Equinox, WKRP in Cincinnati's Frank Bonner has a wild character arc. He's chased by a giant, goes into a parallel dimension where he gets killed by a demon who takes his human form only to transform into a winged devil.
I'm never, ever doing that again.
In Creepshow, Maude actress Adrienne Barbeau is eaten by the crate monster. In Tales from the Crypt Demon Night, Thomas Hayden Church gets devoured by demons. In Massacre at Central High, we see the explosive death of Joni Loves Chachi star Daryl Morey. And in that same film, Eight is Enough actress Lainey O'Grady is killed during a three-way with Robert Carradine. And last, but certainly not least, Friends actor Paul Rudd was in Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers. Let's look at his gruesome death. I'm kidding, his character survives the film. I couldn't resist. Number 5, Cloris Leachman. Cloris Leachman is sitcom royalty, appearing in everything from The Mary Tyler Moore Show to her own spin-off Phyllis, The Facts of Life, and Raising Hope. You'll remember her castmate from The Mary Tyler Moore Show had a memorable cameo in the giant crocodile film Lake Placid. In the sequel, Cloris plays an almost identical older lady with the same last name, probably because Betty White turned the sequel down. Maybe. You know what? Let's just watch the clip. You can see why Betty White turned it down. Number 4, Fred Gwynne. Fred Gwynne got his start in 2 classic sitcoms, The Munsters and Car 54, Where Are You? But another generation got to know him for 2 memorable film roles, playing the judge in My Cousin Vinny.
Did you say Utes?
Yeah, 2 Utes.
What is a Ute?
And as the old neighbor in Stephen King's Pet Sematary.
Where did you...
Ah, that is awful. There is only one thing that could make the scene worse.
Lily, dear. Why did he have to do that?
And because there's a rivalry between the Munsters and the Addams Family, John Astin had to die in a horror movie. Here's a scene from Peter Jackson's The Frighteners. Number 3, Ted Danson. Ted Danson has spent over 30 years doing sitcoms. He starred in everything from Mr. Mayor to The Good Place, Curb Your Enthusiasm, and Becker, but he'll always be remembered as bartender Sam Malone on NBC's Cheers.
You know, I've been in the mood for a movie all day long.
The same year his sitcom debuted, he starred in one of the best Stephen King movies. In Creepshow, Danson plays a guy who got caught having an affair with another man's wife, and he's punished for it Edgar Allan Poe style. It's a great movie and a nightmarish way to die. Also, I think Cheers has the record for most cast members to be murdered in horror movies. We mentioned John Ratzenberger in Motel Hell, plus Kirstie Alley in Village of the Damned. George Wendt was in a dimly lit zombie movie called VFW. Of course, Bebe Neuwirth in The Faculty. George Wendt again in Dreamscape. Does Dan Hedaya count? Sure, let's include him. After all, he starred in the first Cheers spinoff, The Tortellis. Number 2, Richard Mall. You might not know him by name, but Richard Mall played the lovable bailiff Bull Shannon on Night Court, and this actor is no stranger to horror. He co-starred in the 1985 film House, where his undead body gets blown to bits. And that's not even the pick. Here's his memorable moment in Night Train to Terror. Let me save you the trouble of going back. We'll play it again. Before we reveal our number 1 pick for the best sitcom actor death in a horror movie, let's take a moment to look at the previous 19. And now, our number 1 pick for the best sitcom actor death in a horror movie,
Alfonso Ribeiro! Let's go!
Yes! He started out in a supporting role on Silver Spoons, but most people remember him as Carlton on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, where he gained attention for his signature dance move. He bridged the worlds of sitcom and horror in this episode of Fresh Prince. But after today, you're going to remember Alfonso for his awful demise in the 1993 film Ticks. First, he gets bitten by a giant tick. The venom sends him into a seizure. Really, just agonizing. But wait for it. Here it comes. Wait for it. Wait for it. Yes! I'd like to think this film was inspired by Kafka's The Metamorphosis, but who cares?
Damn.
Did we forget your favorite example of a sitcom actor death in a horror movie? If yes, tell us in the comments. And if not, go to the comments anyway. Tell us which one's your favorite. You can subscribe to Atomic Abe, hit the notification bell so you never miss a video, and why not check out some of our other videos, like our look at the best mirror moments in horror movies.
I don't think so.